Hello, scholars, and welcome to Mr. Chambers Teaches HMH into Math for 5th grade. Today we are working on Module 2, Lesson 1. These are pages 33 through 36 in your Unit 1, Module 1 through 9 workbook. In this video, we will go through the Module 2, Lesson 1, Spark Your Learning, Build It Out questions, and a few select questions from Check for Understanding and On Your Own. Please feel free to skip around in the video to help working on particular problems you may need help with. In Lesson 1, we are relating multiplication to division. Our objective, or our I can statement, is I can use an array of an area model to solve a division problem. Spark Your Learning. A community center has 7 digital music players. Each music player has the same number of songs. If there is a total of 112 songs, how many songs are on each music player? There are several ways in which I can go about figuring out our total. Sometimes it helps to draw a model. And if I draw a model out of 7 musical players, the long way about that I can do is I can evenly divide one song into each of these players. That's 7 songs. Tally up another song in each one. That would be 14 songs. You can see that this process may take a long while. Another way that I can go about doing this is listing out multiples of 7. I know that 7 times 1 is 7. 7 times 2 is 14, 7 times 3 is 21, 7 times 4 is 28, 7 times 5 is 35, 7 times 6 is 42, 7 times 7 is 49, 7 times 8 is 56, and 7 times 9 is 63, 7 times 10 is 70. As I'm looking here, I'm trying to think what 2 numbers can add up to 112. In my multiples of 7, I see that 42 and 70 could add up to equal 112. I know that 70 is 7 times 10, and 42 is 7 times 6. Using this thinking, I know that there are 16 songs on each of the players. Another way I could have gone about doing this is by setting up a division problem, having 112 be my dividend, the big number under the division bracket, and the 7 is my divisor. 7 can't go into 1, but it can go into 11 one time. I subtract 7 from 11, which gives me 4. I bring down a 2, and I know that 7 can go into 42 6 times. No matter what way I went about doing it, my answer will be that each player has 16 songs. Build for understanding. Number 1. A local theater group is performing a musical. The members arrange 105 chairs in 5 equal rows for the audience. How many chairs are in each row? Here it's asking us to draw an array to represent the situation. An array model is a grid. We know that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seats in each row. And we can draw this on out. What we need to figure out is how many rows of chairs we need. We have 1 row gives us 5. Our second row will be 10. Third row, 15, counting up our multiples of 5. And so I need to carry on drawing my array till I find where I have 105 chairs. 7th row is 35, 8th row is 40, 9th row is 45, 10th row is 50. Continuing on to 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, and I'm realizing I'm running out of space, but I can keep going, drawing on out. 85, 90. Oh, I need 3 more rows. But if I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. That there are 21 rows of chairs. Our rectangular array represents the dividend of 105 and the divisor of 5 chairs per row. How many groups of 5 can we make? We can make 21 even groups of 5 to equal 105. As a multiplication equation, we can say that 5 times an unknown, which I'll draw as a blank square here, equals 105. Now, if we were to change this into a division equation, our dividend is going to be 105, our largest number. We always want to divide by the largest number. Our divisor will be 5. That is the one number we do know. And our quotient will wind up being our unknown number. So as a division equation, we have 105 divided by 5. This gives us an answer of 21 because we know that there are 21 chairs in each of the 5 rows. Build for understanding number 2. Simone wants 6 of her friends to share 84 photos equally. How many photos will each friend get? As a multiplication problem, we know that this can be 6 times blank equals 84. And as a division problem, I'll put 84 as my dividend under the division bracket, and we're dividing by 6. We can use an area model to show how we can break up 84 into multiples of 6. Now, when it comes to division like this, somewhere on the side of the page, I'll often write out what are my multiples. Multiples of 6 because that is the number I know, and usually I go until about the 10th multiple. All right, so looking at my list of multiples, many of these numbers can be added to add up to 64, but anytime that we can have a 60, we're going to use that because that is a multiple of 10. 60 plus 24 would equal 84. 6 times 4 gives us 24. So, in this area model that we have drawn, each of the small rectangles shows a partial quotient and the product of 6 times the partial quotient. I can summarize this up as these smaller rectangles show partial quotients. How can we use these partial quotients to find the quotient of 84 divided by 6? Well, I know that I have the partial quotient of 10 of 6 times 10 equals 60, and the partial quotient of 4 of 6 times 4 equals 24. If I add these up together, I have that the total quotient is 14. Now I can re-show my thinking through distributive property. 6 times blank equals 84. I know that 6 times blank equals 84 can be broken down into 60 and 24. 60 is 6 times 10. 24 is 6 times 4, and that all adds up to equal 84. Because in my multiplication problem, both of our parentheses are multiplying by 6, I can multiply 6 times 10 plus 4, and that will still give me a product of 84. Now, down here, I'm still multiplying by 6, but I can add the 10 and the 4 in our parentheses to get 14. This gives us a total product of 84. What related division equation can we write to model the number of photos each friend will get? Well, as a division equation, we can write that it is 6. 84 divided by 6 gives us 14, because each of the 6 friends receives 14 pictures. Now, on to check for understanding. We'll do this on the next page for number 1. Priya and her friends are decorating some picture frames. Priya shares 96 beads equally between herself and 3 friends. How many do each receive? In this problem, we have several ways that we can go about solving this. But first, we need to know what is our total number. Our total number of beads is 96. This will be our dividend. We are dividing it by 4 because it is herself and 3 of her friends that are receiving beads. If I'm doing a normal division problem, I will divide 96 divided by 4. I know that 4 can go into 9 2 times. 2 times 4 equals 8. 9 minus 8 is 1, and I carry down my 6. Next up, how many times can 4 go into 16? That is 4 times. 4 times 4 equals 16. 16 minus 16 is 0, so there is no remainder for this problem. If I were to do this as an area model, I would think of multiples of 4 that can be broken up into smaller pieces for partial quotients. To help me with this, I'll list out my multiples of 4. 4 times 1 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, 4 times 3 is 12, and 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times 5 is 20, 4 times 6 is 24, 4 times 7, 28, times 8 is 32, times 9 is 36, times 10 is 40. I really like using 40 because 40 is base 10. If I break up 96, I can fit in 2 40s. 40 plus 40 equals 80. That leaves me with a remainder of 16. So as partial quotients, I know that 4 times 10 would give me 40, 4 times 10 equals 40, and 4 times 4 would give me 16. If I add up all of our partial quotients, I get a total of 24. Regardless of how I do it, whether I'm using an area model or standard division, my answer is 24. Moving on now to page 36. Today we are only going to work together on question number 3. 9 friends collect 1,260 leaves at the forest preserve. They each collect the same number of leaves. How can we use an equation to solve how many leaves each friend collects? Here I have a known number. This is my total, the total number of leaves, which becomes my dividend of 1,260. There are 9 friends working together to collect these leaves, so I'll be dividing 1,260 divided by 9. I know that 9 can't go into 1, so I put a 0 here. But 9 can go into 12 one time. 9 times 1 is 9. 12 minus 9 gives me 3. I carry down my 6, and now I know that 9 can go into 36 4 times, because 9 times 4 equals 36. 36 minus 36 is 0, carry down my 0. And lastly, 9 goes into 0 0 times. That last 0 holds as a placeholder to say we don't have any numbers in our ones place. But if I do the division, each friend collects 140 leaves. All right. This concludes our video on HMH into math for 5th grade. I'm Mr. Chambers, and I thank you for taking the time to watch this video to improve your math skills, and I look forward to speaking to you again in our next lesson, Module 2, Lesson 2.